Some loves don't save you. They scar you. They invade you. They devour even the parts you try to hide from yourself. Felipe didn't come into my life to love me. He came to possess me, to protect me in the worst way possible. And by the time I could finally breathe, it was already too late. Because I was his, and somehow, I still am. That night, I just wanted to get through another shift. I arrived like I always did. Walked to the bar, and he was there. Red shirt, dark jeans, sneakers, tall, broad shoulders, well-kept hair. Undressing me with his eyes, looking me up and down like he already knew exactly what he wanted. Like he had already decided that I was his. I had seen Felipe before. He did some work for the owner of the club, always quiet, always in his corner. But his eyes were always looking for me when I passed. And that night, he didn't look away. I went to get ready. Black dress, red hair down, green eyes lined with the darkest mascara I had. But inside, nothing had prepared me for him. When I came back to the bar, just to drop off my purse, he grabbed my arm, firm. Without hesitation, direct stare, no charm, no seduction. It was a command. It was certainty. You're going to be mine tonight. And I was. Not in body, but in what was most dangerous, in my heart. In what I spent my whole life trying to hide. And he tore it open in minutes. The next night, I didn't go back to the nightclub where I worked. It wasn't fear of Felipe. It was fear of what he awakened in me. I needed to run from the feeling of finally being seen, run from what exposed me. It was too strong, and I just wanted to forget. No one had ever cut through me like that. My heart had been frozen for far too long. Even beside Gabriel, everything was routine, habit, survival. Felipe was the spark on my rain-soaked pain. And when you burn like that, there's no way back. I went to another city, another nightclub, new lights, new rules. I thought I could start over, erase the stare that undressed me completely. But there, a drunk client tried to grab me. The security guards beat him. Screams, blood, chaos, and me, curled in a corner, trying not to shake. That's when I realized, not even there was I safe, not far from him, not close to myself. I went back to the nightclub where it all began. The same one that swallowed me from the inside every time I stepped in. That place, where I faked pleasure, sold presents, and smiled on command. Because that's what I did. Escort, charged by the hour, and died inside, by the minute. But as soon as I walked in, one of the girls ran to me. "Rafaela, he came here. He asked for you, said he needed to see you, and left this." It was a crumpled piece of paper with his number on it. But I didn't even need to look. Deep down, I already knew. He would come, because men like that, they don't give up. They mark you, and they always come back. The next night, I came back to work. But something in me wasn't the same anymore. I got ready in the dressing room, like always, but my hands were trembling. I put on red lipstick, but it wasn't steady, hair loose. Perfume thick in the air. On the outside, I looked the same, On the inside, I was waiting. And he came. Silent, without needing to say a word. His eyes came straight to me. Like time had frozen between us. Like he already knew. I still belonged to him too. The owner had noticed. He saw everything. Nothing escaped him in that place. And the rule was clear. Clients don't get involved with the girls. And since it was Kelly's first night, he pointed. Cold. Cynical. Go with her. No repeats. She's new. You'll be the first. I heard it all. Every word cutting through me. Like blades. Felipe looked at me. Paused. Hesitated. But obeyed. He went up with her. And before he disappeared, he looked again. A silent look. Full of guilt. Full of things that can't be fixed. And I stayed there. The taste of humiliation stuck in my throat. I went downstairs, pretended nothing had happened, grabbed a drink, then another, played pool with the clients, made jokes, swung my hips onto one of their laps, laughed. On the outside, I was the professional, the woman every man wanted for an hour, but inside, I was dying, unseen. And then, I went upstairs, said I needed another drink, but it was just an excuse, a way to escape myself. And that's when I saw it. Kelly on his lap, Felipe's hand firm around her waist, head down, like it meant nothing, and her, like she was me. I don't remember how I left. I only remember the bitter taste, the tight throat, the urge to disappear. The manager saw me, didn't say a word, just grabbed the car keys and said, "Get in." He dropped me off downtown, and there, in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the night, I cried. But it wasn't an ordinary cry. I cried like someone who lost their soul, like someone who finally understands. The body can be sold, but the heart, when it breaks, there's no one who can buy the pieces. My phone wouldn't stop ringing. First him, then the girls from the club. "Answer, Rafaela." He's desperate. I wanted to ignore it, make him feel a little of what I felt, but I couldn't. I picked up, just told him where I was, and hung up. Minutes later, he showed up, breathless, worried eyes. He hugged me like he'd never let go again, and there, in his arms, I cried. But not just because of the pain. I cried for everything, for lost time, for a body sold, for a soul scratched raw. Because no matter how wrong it seemed, I still belonged to him. I always had. Gabriel knew me. More than I ever wanted. He knew when I was lying. Even without proof, he felt it. Felt it in my distant touch. In my presence that wasn't really there. In my body that hadn't been his for a long time. I avoided his eyes, answered with short words. And he watched me with a kind of quiet rage. With a kind of pain that doesn't know it's pain, that turns into poison. Then one day, he looked straight at me. No yelling, no shaking. "You're seeing someone else, aren't you?" I didn't answer. There were no more excuses, and he walked away. Like someone waiting for me to chase after him. But I didn't. Because for the first time, I felt free. Because my heart already had another name carved into it. What I didn't know was that someone was watching everything. Every gesture, every look. Kelly, the new girl at the club. The one who smiled at me on her first day, but whose smile secretly hated me. She liked Felipe. Silently. The kind of girl who watches from afar, feeding hope with fantasy. And when she saw he looked at me differently, she couldn't take it. Dropped the act, and called the one person she knew could bring pain. Gabriel. She told him everything, every detail, every meeting. And at that moment, chaos started breathing inside us. Even if we didn't know it yet. That same night, Gabriel showed up. He wasn't the same man. He stormed into the club like a hurricane, veins bulging, eyes cutting through everything. He grabbed my arm, rough, violent, yelled in the middle of the room, "If I ever see you with him again, I swear I'll kill you both." No one dared to stop him. No one even touched him. Hours later, he came to my house, walked in like he still had that right. His voice was like a knife. "Tell me, if someone aimed a gun at Philippe, would you step in front of it? Would you die for him?" And in that moment, without blinking, without trembling, I said, yes. I would die for him. And deep down, I knew I had just sealed something, like I had challenged fate itself. I needed to understand. Because nothing made sense, but everything hurt. I went to see a fortune teller, not out of faith, but out of desperation. She looked at me like she already knew, turned one card, then another. And when she turned the last, she went quiet, long, sharp. Then she said, "He's going to die. They're plotting it. There are people jealous of him. And if you stay by his side, either you'll die with him, or you'll watch him die in front of you. And that will drive you mad." I left that place in shock, heart ripped open, soul in pieces, and I never told him. I kept it inside me, like hiding a poison, like someone who knows that, even warned, they won't be able to run. And from that day on, even his breathing felt heavy, like time was about to explode between us. A few months had passed since the visit to the fortune teller, months where I carried it alone, told no one, especially not him, pretending I could live with a sentence stuck in my throat. That night should have been just another one. We had gone to a friend's engagement party. We slept at her place after a few drinks. But in the middle of the night, I woke up with the feeling that someone was watching me. I opened my eyes. Felipe was awake, lying there, staring at me in silence, like he knew something that I didn't know yet. I turned to face him before I could say anything. He spoke, low, steady, without looking away. "Rafaela, I know I'm going to die soon." My body froze. So did my soul. I feel it. It's coming. He paused, took a deep breath, then said, "I've dreamed about it a few times. Dreamed I died. And in some of them, you died with me." Silence. He held my hand. No tears. No fear. just certainty. But even after I'm gone, I'll stay close. I'll lie beside you. I'll hold you, because you're mine. You always were. And you always will be. After that night, nothing was the same again. Felipe didn't pull away. On the contrary, he became more intense, clingier, more mine. If we weren't together, he'd call, send messages, leave recordings in my voicemail, singing loudly, screaming how much he loved me, making up silly songs just to make me laugh. Like his voice could protect me from the distance. Like his love could reach me even when I pretended to be asleep. And on nights he didn't sleep with me, he'd leave a shirt. Sometimes he'd put on another one just to take off the one he wore and give it to me. For you to smell me, so you won't forget me. That's what he'd say. And I did. I'd sleep hugging his shirt, like it was enough to keep him close. And little by little, my house filled with his things. Socks, toothbrushes, shirts, small things. But they felt intentional, like he needed to mark every corner, like he had to be remembered all the time, like I could ever forget him. Every hug felt like the last. Every silence was a warning. And when he called me in the middle of the night, his voice was loud, laughing, loving, trying to stay. He never said it outright, but I knew he was trying to say goodbye, trying to leave before the world could take him. But the world was already waiting. And me? I still didn't know how to say goodbye to someone who promised to love me even after death. I'll never forget that day. It was late afternoon, the sky was heavy, and it wasn't just the weather, it was a warning. Grey, dense, like it already knew. My phone wouldn't stop ringing. First a strange message, then rumours, then certainty. Felipe had been found. Inside a car, alone, burned, unrecognizable. A brutal murder, no witnesses, no explanation. He spent days buried as a John Doe, no name, no one. I was still frozen. When the phone rang again, it was his number, Gabriel's. I answered without thinking. And all he said was, "You're lucky I still love you." His voice was calm, but cold. Because if I didn't, you'd have gone with him. And he hung up. No breath, no guilt, no fear. And in that moment, I understood. Felipe was gone, but hell was still here. He left, just like he said he would, just like he warned me. But he never really left. I searched for him everywhere, walked into bars, hoping to see that teasing smile, that gaze that undressed me in silence. Sometimes I stopped in the middle of the street, waiting, hoping he'd show up laughing, saying it was all just another scare. But it wasn't, and me, I died a little with him. Because some love doesn't end with death. It lingers, it clings, it traps. And the worst part is that the past never let go either. Gabriel stayed close, even from afar, even in silence. He was in the messages from unknown numbers, in the hacked social media accounts, in the intimate photos leaked online, in the late-night calls from hidden numbers. Like I couldn't have peace, not in grief, not in fear, not even in myself. It's been 13 years. 13. And I still wake up in the middle of the night, with my body cold, with the feeling that someone laid down beside me and held me, like he used to. I've tried to move on. Other men, other cities, but nothing lasts. Either I pull away, or they disappear. And when someone gets too close, I see pieces of Felipe in them. A gesture, a tone of voice, a silence that freezes me from the inside out. Like he left pieces of himself in every man who dares to try loving me. I don't hear his voice anymore, but I feel him. I feel him lying next to me. I feel him pressing against my body in the dead of night. Felipe died, but he kept his promise. He's still here. And Gabriel, he's here too. On the other side of the screen, on the other side of the street, or maybe just here, inside my head. This story is about that. About a love that crossed the line, that ignored time, that challenged death. You promised you'd wait for me, Felipe, and I never managed to leave. Not alive. Not even after. You promised to wait for me on the other side, and I kept my word. By dying while still alive.